used. In fact, you must hold it.
Is Ghana then violating our KO requirements? By not fumigating?
When coming
to Nigeria?
Well, it depends. It depends. You may opt not to do it, but it's a thing that if you have to do it to protect stands of day, you must do it. You have to do it.
So we see absolutely no problem with it in Nigeria. Our authorities see absolutely nothing wrong with it. So the reason why I have to ask...
You've traveled from other countries to another one, not just Nigeria, and they do it also. You've traveled out of other countries to other nations, and they do it also. If you are going from any of that place to Latin America to Asia, they'll do it.
This is important so that people can know.
Yes, they do it.
So that they will not feel offended.
No, they should not feel offended. I think we need to explain to our people. It's also in our interest to make sure we don't carry anything to this country and we don't take it to that side.
Well, good enough you're here. Tell us more about safety now. Air safety. Let's talk about the total radar system around our airports and the likes. And some kind of checks people now do before they take off, because so far so good. Well, it's been relatively peaceful and safe in our skies.
There's no question that we've have to tackle a question of safety for a long time right now. You all remember what happened during the 2005-2006 with the woeful accident record, loss of life. We need to work on this. We work on that. We thank God that's behind us, and we have gone to a long. I remember very well, and Shani also mentioning that we were flying coffins, that our aeroplanes were very old. We've removed all that right now. You're now flying modern aeroplanes. We went through Cape Town Convention. Nigerians are now flying the same aeroplane in Europe and a place. So that has improved. We have a fleet renewal.
You also check private airlines, private choppers?
Full scale. It's total now. It's total. And then we have gone over, we have completed a recertification of the entire industry. We now have new regulations, new Surveillance Act is to the letter, and our surveillance is number one.
How do you monitor, sorry Mark, how do you monitor those who use choppers now, helicopters for, and maybe, let me use the word now, taxis now, from one spot to the other? Do you also monitor them?
Of course. No aircraft can operate in this country unless you have a valid certificate of airworthiness. That is not in place unless you have done your maintenance. Your crew must be properly trained. You must have done that training, you must have done this. Apart from that, you must have, if you are operating in public transport category, carrying passenger for hire and reward, you must have an AOC, Air Operator Certificate.
Okay. The last accident we encountered, the helicopter that crashed.
Oh, yes.
Yes. What findings did you get? What were the results?
Again, you have to, because NCA and regulator, I'm not allowed to talk about that accident right now.
That's
publicly, AIB, because investigation is going on. But again, a very unfortunate one, because we lost 3 people on board, the crew and the 2 passengers flying over. What we can only see right now is that it looks to us like a CFIT, control flying to terrain, hit the mountain and split. It's not really usually a survivable accident. The impact is too much when you hit like that. So, but they are investigating that. We'll be able to get a result.
Okay, but at the moment now, are we properly scrutinizing the flight plans, ensure that they stick to them, and then the tracker, and what's the condition now?
Well, the tracker is the newest thing that happened. It's a radar. It's a surveillance. You know, when we talk about CNS, communication, navigation, surveillance, it comes as surveillance. So we can see them, they can monitor them as they are going. They can see them, and it's going. But helicopters fly below those those altitudes, so they can, so that one is there. But apart from that, it's the terminal ready to be able to pick them and this and this. But we must understand that when it comes to safety, we can pass them up. Nigeria got category 1. We pass IQ audit. We do a lot of external audit. We check our airlines all the time. We grant them. We don't discuss it when we grant the airlines or withdraw.
Well, in other words,
why not? We try not to discuss that.
In other words, I will look into getting more airlines fly international routes.
Yeah. Well, I heard you talking about that, but when you look at our international routes, what is happening right now? We're working with them. Our Nigerian carriers right now are carrying the crumbs under the tables. They're carrying the leftovers. The competition is tough, my sister, tough. They're dealing with, proving, airlines with a lot of support from their countries that do a lot of things. It's just a fledgling airline. And it's like comparing an ant with an elephant. Even if we use the same aircraft and this and this, and that's it. And as rightly said, that certain Nigerians who are very, very, they've been flying British Airways for years. They are military, that's all they can do. And I wish them luck. Maybe also can provide better service. But the key, we must develop a strong Nigerian air carriers. Strong Nigerian that can compete, not because of favor, the same aircraft, the same standard, the same comfort. You must go there and compete. This is business.
So you also, your thoughts on having a national carrier will be in the affirmative then?
My first question is, who owns it? Is it owned by Nigerians? Is it 100% owned by government? Is it a combination of both? Is it PPP, private sector driven? That's a way to look at. We must learn from our experiences, learn from our mistakes. We don't commit the same again. Look at the best industry practices now, so that we can protect that.
So even if it's called Nigeria Airways, but the structure
very important
is the key.
We must not make the same mistake we made.
What are we doing, I mean, in terms of infrastructure on ground? I'm talking about the state of the airports now. I mean, there have been promises. Well, does your aviation authority cover that as well? NCA,
of course.
Does it cover that as well?
Yes. I'm very concerned. I've mentioned this many times. I know you will talk about, because you fly to MMA all the time. You come down, 6 hours flight, 3 hours, cannot get your luggage. It is wrong. But don't forget, Muritala Mohamed Airport International was built in it's a 1970s infrastructure. It's old. We need to build a new one. You can repair, you can do another thing. You need a befitting one.
But we didn't stick to the plan for the airport. I understand it was supposed to be a 3-phase airport. We only did 1 phase and left 2 phases.
We went to sleep as usual. When you go there, you see, sometimes you wonder, it's a D finger, E finger, you wonder, where is A, where is B, where is C? We didn't do those ones, and we went back to sleep.
So now we're awake, so what do we do?
That's what we should do, build a new terminal.
But in the meantime...
State of the art one, that's what we should do. We don't build the airport that way again. During that time, my sister, we didn't have problem with security. Nobody was. Now we have major security problems all over the world. We must meet those challenges. And that's what we should do. Yes.
In the meantime, how are we making what we have now work efficiently?
Okay, very good. That's what they are talking about. And that's what the minister is doing right now. That they need to really refurbish what we have right now until when the new one is built. We can't go to London and come back. Take you 3 hours to take your luggage. That's madness. Not ours. Let's improve our...
How's power supply at the airport?
Power supply.
We understand that recently you made investments in buying generators instead of, calling in the independent power project you're planning to invest in at some point.
These are funds affairs.
Okay.
But let me say this. We must have power. Mine to give a directive. We must have uninterrupted power supply at the airport. Air condition must work. This must work. Passenger must get the best thing. That's what we should do.
It hasn't been working in the air conditioners. Thank God you just mentioned.
Well, they are working. These are things fun.
Because once upon a time you could feel the cool breeze before you get in, but now
you're right.
You just
but those are
feel
the things we should get back to. They've been promising. They've said, give them